Well, welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio. That was an interesting discussion about technology, new technology, and COVID-19. And I want to introduce you to another company that's got some unbelievably interesting technology. David Lucatch, is that correct?
That is correct, Lucatch.
David Lucatch, he's the CEO of Cabin. That's Kabn, not the other cabinet you're thinking about. David's an interesting gentleman. He's the CEO, president, and chair of Cabin. He spent over 35 years as a serial entrepreneur in the international marketing arena and over 25 years in developing technologies and taking them to market. He's held senior management posts and directorships at both private and public technology and media firms. He's active supporter of numerous nonprofit organizations and has been recognized internationally for his service and community and support activities. Today, his focus is on the Cabin Network as its chair. And get this, its mission to empower individuals through self-sovereign identity to manage, control, and profit from the use of their identity and related personal data. Wow. David, tell me, what the heck did I just say? What is that?
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I know it's a mouthful. So been around a long time since the dawn of the internet in Canada, and done a lot of interesting things. But today what we do is we literally empower users to take control over their online identity and the data that they create. And that is really in harmony and lockstep with what the governments and regulators around the world are doing. They're empowering people to take control of that information.
And how do you take control of it?
That's an interesting point. The thing is when we go around the real world, the physical world, we carry a wallet, we carry a key ring to prove who we are, carry a passport. There's things, and we do facial recognition. I see you, I know who you are. You see me, I know who I am. And that's been going on for thousands of years. But the internet, when it was originally designed, really did not have the capacity to create or prove digital identity. The technical infrastructure needed to do that was quite heavy. And over the years, finally, with blockchain, cryptography, and other services, we're about ready to be able to prove online who we are as simply as we do in the real world. So we provide tools and services that help people do that. But better than that, we help them manage all these incoming and new credentials that might show up. Like your previous gentleman might need a credential to prove that someone had a COVID vaccination. And so you're going to need that digitally, or a digital driver's license. The Ontario government is talking about having digital identity by the end of 2021. How are you going to manage all these touch points online? Your online identity, your online passwords, all those types of things you'll need to manage and control.
And I understand that you've just launched something called a liquid avatar. What the heck is a liquid avatar?
So, it's sort of a fun and great way to prove who you are. So if you or any of the listeners or viewers have ever had an animal, a pet at home, you know how difficult it is to give a pet a pill. It's a task that no pet owner ever wants to deal with. When we think of digital identity and learning how to manage your digital identity is sort of a pill. And what we've done is created that peanut butter that you put around the pill, and that's Liquid Avatar. And Liquid Avatar is the ability to take different facets of your personality and assign them to a digital icon. So you might want a really cool shot for being a gamer. You may want something more subdued to be a family person. And it allows you to share what you want, when you want, and with whom you want by associating certain online factors or certain online parts of your personality to different avatars.
So this is a little avatar of me that follows me around digitally?
Well, it doesn't follow you around. You can share it with whomever you want. If you've ever shared a V card, that's a pretty cool thing. Imagine sharing just an avatar that has all that information built into it. But you can share a different avatar for people at work or in your business than you would at home. And once you're connected, you can then start sharing private data. So Brian, if I shared my Liquid Avatar with you for business, it might have some of my public information that I share with everyone, because you might share it with other people. But once you and I are connected in the Liquid Avatar community, I can start sharing private data with you. I can.
So is this a competitor of LinkedIn or Messenger?
Neither. We are We are all about you sharing those things with people when you want to. I may not want to share my Facebook page with everyone. I may only want to share it with my friends. So I have a different avatar for work because I don't share my Facebook information inside my avatar. So think of it as an avatar as a container, a visual container that you can share different pieces of information with. This is a whole new paradigm shift. And it's interesting because when I started in the internet, there was no such thing as e-commerce. My team actually originally designed the way that Canadians use credit cards online. And everyone told me that no one would shop online. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to shop online. If you go back to the late 90s, that was the whole thought process. So identity is going to be the same thing. If you think of sort of the four legs, we call them, of the internet, one is search, 100% addressable market, a browser, 100% addressable market, communications, 100% addressable market. Everyone online does all those three things. Digital identity, we believe, is the fourth leg of the chair, that everyone online will have to be able to manage their digital identity. If they're going to school, if they do work things, if they do government things, all those things are going to eventually have provable identity that you're going to need to use to be able to get the things you want online.
But what you're talking about is not only have that digital identity online, but you're talking about having this avatar that has a whole bunch of information that you can share with people that you want to share it with. But that's very different for the different stakeholders or targets of people that you're connecting up with that you want to share the information with.
Different people, different information. If I'm a gamer and a comic book collector. I don't necessarily share that with people I do work with.
Gamer and a comic book collector.
I am. Since I'm 5 years old, I'm a comic book collector. I used to be friends with Stan Lee, and I think we have something in common. I did a lot of work for the Marvel movies and for Disney.
Cool.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. About a year ago, I don't know when, but there was this thing going around on social media where people would take 4 different pictures and they'd put up, this is how I look to the world on Facebook. And it was with a family, and then Instagram, and it was partying or drinking. And then it was LinkedIn, and it was very corporate headshot. And then it was social media, and the shirt was undone and they were trying to look cool. Right. So people have different personas for different targets, different areas of their life.
Different parts of their life.
How's your avatar, your liquid avatar, going to be different than those 4 examples I just gave?
Well, you've just given a great example. It's not really going to be. You're going to be able to have multiple avatars or one avatar. You might say, well, look, I only want one avatar, and I want a picture of my dog to represent my family life, or I want, a picture of my favorite gamer avatar to be part of my gaming life. We are different people online, and we have a tendency to do things differently online, but yet we do the same things we do in the real world. So, and as time goes on, I think more and more people will associate, some kind of keyring or some kind of avatar or some kind of icon to parts of their personality. And we're sort of, if you're familiar with the movie or the book Ready Player One, that's where we believe the market is going. It will be a virtual and integrated augmented reality platform, the internet, eventually, and we'll have these glasses that are heads-up glasses. I mean, we're not trying to be visionaries.
Hold it. So you're saying the internet is not going to be this flat screen anymore. It's going to be an augmented reality internet.
That's my belief, and that's the power of computing is so more pervasive than it was 10 years and Moore's law.
So are we going to have like holograms that jump out of the computer and start talking to us?
We should have not holograms, but augmented reality, something similar to that within 6 months.
But it's with glasses. That's how we get the.
No, you're going to be able to use your phone to do that. Augmented reality now phones are so powerful. We're adding augmented reality. So you might be able to, Brian, if you and I are in Liquid Avatar, I may be able to just scan you, like hold my phone up to you, and I can see above your head a halo with your Liquid Avatar icon, maybe your LinkedIn connection, your Facebook connection. I can click on those and connect with you right away.
How cool. Now, you've launched this on the app. Tell me what is there on the app.
Well, right now it's sort of the foundational piece. We've made it very clear that we're launching over the next 4 or 5 months. So there'll be new pieces every month.
So if I go to the Apple App Store right now and download you, what do I get?
You get to create an avatar. You get to share the avatar. You get to start to look around and see what's going to happen. Next month, you'll get multiple language. You'll get push notifications. You'll get other goodies. And each month, you'll get more and more goodies added to the app.
And what's your revenue model? How do you make money? Do you charge me for the app, or do you sell ads, or what?
App is free of charge. There are no ads. So how do we make money?
Yeah.
So if you think about marketing today online, a lot of the money spent on marketing today, it goes into vapors because, there's a lot of fakes, a lot of bots, a lot of, not true accounts. So when you reach a market, you might be spending money on something to reach people and your return is very low. In our system, because we biometrically verify everyone, it's one user and one account.
Hold it.
Therefore,
you biometrically
verify everyone.
How do you biometrically verify people?
Facial recognition. So when you open an account, you can give a username and a password and facial recognition because we start the verification of identity. Now, it's not invasive because you're in control of everything. We don't sell or rent data. The verification keeps you in control of your data. So as time goes on, you may need a verifiable identity credential that gets you your driver's license. So we started that process now. We use the app on your phone to our cloud-based services, so no data is stored on your phone and you have control over all your data. So we have known users in our ecosystem. Known users are of higher value to marketers. We don't sell or rent data, but we have an offering section. We have over 400 vendors who want to reach known users today, and they're willing to give those users a better deal because they're known users, and they're willing to pay us a little bit of that transaction if the transaction is completed.
And I understand you've got something as well called Cabin ID. Is that different than what we've just been talking about?
Well, no, not really. But Cabin ID was the early stage for our verification process. But in fairness, we're deprecating that. We're getting rid of it in favor of a new blockchain enhanced verification process that we're bringing out.
A blockchain enhanced. Explain that, please.
Well, very simply, if can you see the triangle that I'm holding up right now with my fingers? So if you walk into a supermarket and you check out and you use a debit card or credit card, you're effectively creating that triangle. At the top would be you, on one corner would be the supermarket, and on one corner would be the bank. And when you use a credit card, all three people are communicating, right? Okay. We're all communicating. Is that Brian's card? Does Brian have his PIN? If Brian has his PIN, I'll authorize the transaction. Identity transactions or verifiable credential transactions are the same. You have a user, you have somebody, let's say like the Scotiabank Arena wants to let you in, and you have someone that you can prove that you have, let's say, a COVID vaccination. So there are three entities in that same triangle. And by using a verifiable blockchain-based credential, we can share information privately and securely that you can control. We're members of something called the Trust Over IP Foundation, which is supported by companies like IBM and MasterCard and Accenture and Aetna and USAA and some very large corporations.
What a fascinating technology that you've got, and an interesting vision of what you see in the future. We're chatting tonight with the head of Cabin, K-A-B-N, that's got a digital avatar and a whole bunch of online identity what do you call them? Identity
tools.
David Lucatch. We're going to take a break for some messages and come back with a little bit of description of this digital avatar in just a minute. And then I want to ask him about where he sees the future. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio. Our interesting conversation with David Lucatch, who is the president of Cabin, K-A-B-N, a company that is launching some really interesting technologies, liquid avatar and internet identity tools and things like this. It's really quite fascinating. And David, you've said that you've been in this business for a long time. I was checking you out on LinkedIn. Like, you've been with a huge number of fascinating companies. Tell us a little bit about your career. What brought you to where you are now?
Well, Brian, I started my business in university in the 80s, and was fortunate enough to be able to do well enough to keep it when and stay with it when I finished university at the University of Toronto. And but in the mid 90s, I saw the internet coming up, and I decided that that's where I wanted to be. And I wanted to build one of Canada's first internet malls. And frankly, there was no way to buy anything. So we set out with Visa and MasterCard and 2 Canadian banks to be able to empower people to shop online and put their credit cards online. And we created that technology. It seems like no one would have created it, but we actually did. And then I moved on.
The technology has been interesting, but you've also, just for everyone's interest, 1994 ValueNet International, 2005 Internet Media Inc., 2013 Yappen, 2016 Catch Studios, Catch Star Studios, 2015 Imagination 7 Ventures, 2017 Pegasus FinTech Inc., 2017 Cabin. Like, you're like a serial entrepreneur, sir.
I can't sit still. So yeah, and in between that, I've done work, as I said earlier. I've done work for the Marvel movies. I've done work for K-pop. I helped Disney release the song "Let It Go" from Frozen in 2011. I've done some really cool stuff, and I've been nominated for a New York Emmy for television production along the way, and been part of a Guinness World Record. So, been a busy guy.
Pretty cool. So I want you to tell us a little bit about this liquid avatar, if you could.
Sure.
So what are you trying to do? You're showing the digital world who you are.
Right. So at the end of the day, everyone at their core wants to be something cool and unique. I mean, we want to, create representations of ourselves. We want to be online and do something new and innovative. And what we've done is allowed people to create avatars of themselves, again, at no cost. I mean, there's thousands of combinations. You can create your avatar, and you can associate various facets of your personality with different avatars. And again, thousands of combinations. But we also have something called the Liquid Avatar Marketplace, which has really cool avatars in addition, that if you choose, you could buy, and they're by very well-known artists and designers, and some really cool up and coming. And really, a liquid avatar at its core is a visual presentation layer. It's got a public and private data layer and a security layer. So it's all about giving you the ability to share what you want, when you want, with who you want, but associating different touch points of the internet with different avatars. You could have one avatar with everything, or you could have an avatar for work, and one for family, and one for friends, and one for gaming. You get to control what people see about you and when they see it.
And if I want to check this out, how do I get it?
You go to www.liquidavatar.com. It's that simple. Or you can go to the app store, the Apple App Store, or or Google Play, and download our app. And it's all about the next generation of creating verifiable credentials. These are things, data about you that you control, that are supported by governments, e-commerce sites, credit card companies, educational facilities, healthcare facilities, so that you're carrying your credentials. Think of your driver's license or your health card digitized. You're going to need to be able to prove who you are. And every time you use that, you're going to need to be able to prove that you are you, to make sure there is no fraud.
Unbelievable. Sir, you've got a huge experience in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, where do you think the market is going? What's going to happen in technology in the future? I had a session just a little while ago from Davos on the fourth industrial revolution, where people were saying that what's happening with digitization right now is going to be as impactful as what might have happened with information technology 20 years or with industrialization 50 years ago. What do you think?
I agree with that statement. I think we're sort of at the tip of the iceberg. We're seeing 5% and 95% is below the waterline. I think we're going to see augmented reality, which is the ability to create a whole new layer of information around your face or a storefront or a logo. We're going to see augmented reality take over. VR, I think, is going to be a little slower to adopt because that's a very immersive experience where augmented reality is a little more passive. You don't have to be actually in the experience. You can use your phone as a lens to look at something. And when you look at something, new data comes up. We also think that we will become more virtual. I mean, especially, we've seen this with the pandemic. I mean, we run a company that we will likely never have an office. All our people are remote around the world. So we've never had an office. I don't think we will ever have an office. So there's been a change, and we're getting more acclimatized to do more and more of our lives online. However, people should still get outside and go for a walk.
Do you think that this digitization, this trend to digitization, is going to be as material as an industrial revolution?
I do. I do, because what we're seeing now, especially in the last month, is something called NFTs, non-fungible token. And we're seeing, if you think of a silver dollar has two components. It has the silver and it has the dollar. So the silver is attached to a fixed money value of a dollar. That dollar is divisible, but the silver really isn't divisible. So we're seeing assets being tied to blockchain-based tokens. We're seeing, blockchain for supply chain management. I heard recently about, tracking fish from the time they start in a farm to the time they hit your dinner plate, and being able to track them using blockchain to manage identity, blockchain to manage credentials for school and diplomas. And I mean, even people who have young kids are becoming, acclimatized to doing a lot of schoolwork online. So it's a changing world. So I think the digital or digitized revolution is going to be as prolific as the industrial revolution.
David Lucatch, thank you so much. President and CEO of Cabin, K-A-B-N. If people want to download your app, they can do that at the website, which is www.liquidavatar.com, or they can download it from the Apple App Store. If they want to check out the rest of your company, what's the best way? Do you have a company website as well?
The easiest way to search us is go to KABN on a Google search and find out all the things you want to find out about us. We're also listed on the CSE.
Okay, I'm going to have to check you out. Public company. Sounds fun. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. That's our show for tonight. I come to you every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock on 960 AM, or you can stream me online at www.saga960am.ca. You can get all my podcasts and video casts after the fact on briancrombie.com, or I'm on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And David's probably going to tell me that I got to be on some liquid avatar or something like that in the future.
Absolutely.
David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.